Okay. So the Pearson product moment correlation, okay, this is the brief related to PPMC and Pearson product moment correlation, okay, in which it is designated by R, general R, correlation coefficient, in which it has been developed by Carl S. Pearson. Okay, and then it is measured by R value, which is correlation coefficient. So this one on your right side, this is the equation for Pearson product moment correlation, in which you have already learned during your statistic class, I'm sure. Okay. Okay, and then okay, so the purpose, the Pearson product moment correlation is a parametric statistic in which if you want to run this analysis, you need to make sure that both IVs and DV, both IV and DV in your data set meet the requirement of normality. Okay, so because it is parametric statistic, so therefore you need to make sure that both IV and DV, independent variable and dependent variable of your study, met the assumption of normality. Okay, and then the purpose of running the Pearson product moment correlation analysis is to determine the relationship between the two variables, okay, IV and DV. Okay, then in terms of the requirement, okay, both IV and DV must be in either interval or ratio scale of measurement. Okay, only these two scale of measurement. Okay, you cannot have the categorical scale of measurement to run the Pearson product moment correlation. Okay. Okay, and then the assumption that you must fulfill, okay, to run the Pearson product moment correlation is the first one, the scores for both IV and DV must be normally distributed. Okay, the cases represents a random sample from the population. So there are only two assumptions. Okay. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover in this Pearson product moment analysis. Okay, so there will be two parts. The first one is the descriptive, in which we will try to extract the R value from the output. Okay, and then we try to interpret the direction, either it is positive, negative, or no correlation. And then we try to interpret the strength of correlation based on Guilford's rule of thumb. Okay, and then for the inferential part, okay, we will share with you on how to state the H0 and HA for research that include correlational analysis, report the R value, determine the alpha, make the decision and interpretation, and lastly, present and report your result. Okay. Tak apalah, ni boleh skip ni, laju ni. Okay, so in terms of hypothesis testing, okay, during your statistic class, perhaps the lecturer shared with you the representation of hypothesis writing in according to the statistic, in which this is the symbol that we use. Okay, H0 rho equals to 0, or HA rho not equal to 0, larger than 0 or lesser than 0. But in reality, okay, we can simplify things according to directly mention the name of the variable. So for example, there is no correlation between IV and DV for your null hypothesis. And then for your research hypothesis, there is a significant correlation between IV and DV. Or probably, okay, so this one is based on non-directional hypothesis. Okay, so this one is non-directional hypothesis, the first one is, okay, because I do not mention the direction of the relationship. But the second one, there is a significant positive correlation between IV and DV. So this one is referring to directional hypothesis. Also again, so how can I determine either it is directional or non-directional? It must be based on the past study. When we do the literature review, we review what is the direction of the relationship based on past study. So therefore, we come up with the conclusion by ourselves. Okay. Okay, this is another one. There is a significant negative correlation between IV and DV. Okay, so to describe the describe the nature of the relationship. Okay, when we want to describe the relationship, the nature of relationship between the two variables in terms of the direction, either it is positive or negative, okay, based on the symbol of positive or negative located in front of the result. Okay, and then we also can determine the strength or magnitude of the relationship by using the Guilford rule of thumb. Okay, so this is the guideline for Guilford rule of thumb, okay, in which there are 5 levels. Okay, so if let's say the value is lesser than 0.2, it indicates that there is a very low relationship or negligible relationship. Okay, if the value located between 0.2 to 0.4, so the relationship considered low. Okay, if the relationship 0.4 and 0.7, it is moderate. 0.7 to 0.9, high relationship, and larger than 0.9, which is 0.9 to 1, indicate very high relationship. Okay, so just to let you know or to remind everyone, the direction, which is the negative or positive, just indicate the direction. Okay, the symbol positive and negative just indicate the direction of the relationship. Either it is negative or positive. But in terms of the existence of the relationship, it is determined by this numerical value. Okay, and then just to remind again, the highest level of relationship is 1. The highest value of correlation is 1. If let's say in your result you have 1 point something, 1.2 or 1.3 and so on. So means that there's something wrong with your data set. Because the maximum value for correlation is only 1. Cannot be more. Okay. Okay, so another computation that we can use, okay, as an alternative to Guilford rule of thumb is Cohen rule of thumb. Okay, in which compared to Guilford, he provided us with 5 level, but for Cohen, he just provide us with only 3 level. Okay, so R 0.1 equals to weak relationship. 0.3 equals to medium, and then larger than 0.5 and above considered high. Okay, this one also you can use lah. Okay, okay, this is okay, so based on the scatter plot, because the direction of relationship as for the result indicated in the analysis, we can use scatter plot to determine the relationship. Okay, so based on the first scatter plot, okay, this is what is the direction of the relationship for the first scatter plot?
Positive.
Positive. There is a positive relationship between X and Y. Okay, so in which the independent variable we locate at the horizontal line, and then the Y we locate at a parallel parallel line. Okay, and then the second one, negative relationship. The last one is there is no relationship. Okay, ini dia punya the illustration lah. Okay, in terms of the strength ni, okay, ni settle lah. Okay, so there are 5 steps of hypothesis testing. Okay, and then the first one. Yes.
Sekejap. Okay, back to Guilford rule of thumb tadi kan?
Yes.
Kan macam yang 0.2 to 0.4 tu kan? Dia macam 0.4 dan kat bawah tu 0.4 ni kan?
Yes.
So, either one kita nak choose kalau kita dapat 0.4.
Okay, if let's say it is above 0.4, so it is referring to moderate lah. Okay, so this one is basically 0.2 then 2 less than 0.4. Tapi malah nak buat the symbol ni so 2.4. So if let's say 0.4 and above, 0.4 to 0.6 something, 0.699 for example, then it is moderate. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so this one. Okay, so this is the basics, the structured step lah. Okay, the first one, you need to have your hypothesis, both H0 and HA. Okay, we run the analysis and then we are able to extract the test statistic, which is R. Okay, and then we set our alpha. Okay, and then we make decision based on by comparing the test by comparing the significant value and alpha, and then lastly we make conclusion based on the result. Okay, so again, this is the example of hypothesis on null hypothesis and research hypothesis. Okay, this is exactly similar as earlier. And then extract. Okay, so run. Okay, so perhaps are you ready with your data set?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. So now we try to run the statistical analysis in IBM SPSS. Okay. So to run the analysis, by the way, are you prepared with your data set already? Are you done with preparing your data set? Dua je. Okay, so I give you some time to compute the task mean. Sekejap saya share balik. Dan saya dah compute dah ni. You can refer to the first assignment regarding which items referring to task-oriented copying. Please refer to the first assignment, okay, related to which items referring to task-oriented copying, because in this example, I will use the task-oriented copying. Okay, saya nak share ni. Okay, so this is the data set. Okay, so first you need to compute the task-oriented copying. This one. Kena suruh saya buat lagi sekali. Do you have any problem on computing the data? Okay.
Buat lagi sekali lah, Doktor.
Boleh kejap Okay, there is one question from Yong. Okay, Doctor, is it we can choose Cohen or Guilford rule of thumb which support our research? Example, literature set, height relationship, example value 0.5, Cohen mean. Yes, Yong, you can choose either one. Okay, either you want to be based on Guilford or Cohen. It is an optional lah. Okay, you can choose either one. Okay, so by referring to this assignment, okay, so this is the assignment that I'm referred to. Okay, so first we need to compute, make sure that we already compute the philanthropic behavior mean. Okay, and then you need to compute for all these other IV. So for example, in this case, I want to use task-oriented copying as my independent variable. So the item is item 2, 6, 8, 11, 13, 16, and 19. So go back to our data set. Okay, so now to compute the data, okay, we click transform and then we click compute variable. Transform compute variable. Okay, so after the compute variable box appear, then we give the name for our variable. Okay, so for example, I use TOC. TOC indicated for task-oriented copying underscore mean. Okay, so this is the name that I prefer to use. Okay, so TOC underscore mean, because the name cannot have any space. Okay, so next one I highlight on function group. I go to the function group. Okay, and then click on function group and click on, and then go to functions and special variables. Look for mean. Look for mean. This one. Okay, and then double click. Okay, so then it appears in our numeric expression. Okay, so in our numeric expression, now we choose the item. Okay, this one so items 1, 2, 3 this one is referring to CP1 until CP21. Okay, so just I mentioned earlier, so the items measuring task-oriented copying is the second item, CP2, okay, comma, CP6, comma, CP8, comma, CP11, comma, CP13, CP16, and lastly CP19. So there are, in overall, there are 7 items. Then CP2, 6, 8, 11, 13, 16, and 19. So in total, there are 11 items. Then after that, you click OK. Okay. And then again, we go to our data set. We can see that there is a new variable appear in our data set. So TOC, task oriented copying. But this one, I want to change the location lah. To change the location, I just drag the variable and locate the next to PV main. PV. Okay. This one. Okay. So now to run, are we ready to run the analysis? I hope that you already compute the PV main. PV main dah kan?
Dah, Doktor.
Okay, so now, okay, to run the analysis, we just click analyze, correlate, bivariate. Analyze, correlate, bivariate. Okay. Then after that, after the bivariate correlation appear, you just choose the two variable, which is your IV and DV, and locate under variable box. So this one, PV mean and TOC mean. Okay, and then locate under variable box. Okay. Basically, you can run the correlation for more than 2 variables, but since this is bivariate, so I just show the correlation by using only 2 variables. Okay. But in general, you can run more at one shot. Okay. Then now click option. So under option, tick for means and standard deviation. Okay. Tick for means and standard deviation. But if you already have your mean and standard deviation according to the individual variable after you run the univariate analysis, then actually no need for you to rerun lah, retick, no need for you because it is similar result. Okay, and then click continue. Okay, and then under correlation coefficient box, as you aware, there are 3 options. Okay, Pearson, Kendall-Staubbe, and Spearman. So this one by default, it ticks on Pearson. So let it be on Pearson. And then now test of significance. The test of significance, the selection either it is 2-tailed or 1-tailed, it is depend on your research hypothesis. If your research hypothesis indicated that there is a positive relationship, then you need to tick on 1-tailed. If you do not mention any direction on your research hypothesis, then you can use 2-tailed. Okay, clear? And then now click OK. Now we go to our output. So this is the result for correlation. Okay, this is the first one, which is the mean and standard deviation. Okay, and then the second one is the correlation value. Okay, yeah, semua dapat Okay.
Dapat, Doktor.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the result for our correlation. Okay, so mean and standard deviation are important for interpreting and describing the result. So whenever you report the before you report the correlation result, you need to present the mean and standard deviation for the individual variable first. Okay, so that's why every time we rerun the mean and standard deviation analysis. And then next one, the second table, which is the correlation table, will indicate the the result of correlation between your IV and DV. In this case, okay, the R value is
0.341.
okay, yeah. The relationship, the R value between task-oriented copying and philanthropic behavior is 0.341. Okay, so the R equals to 3.41. This is the value. Okay, and then there are 2 stars here. Okay, so the 2 stars, how we can read the 2 stars here? By referring to the notes located below the table, in which 2 star referring to correlation is significant at the 0.01 level. Okay, so means that if the result significant at 0.01, so if you set your alpha at 0.5, automatically it also significant. Okay. Okay, and then this is the significant value. Okay, so that's all. These are the only value that we need from the correlation table. Okay. Next one. Okay, then we set our alpha either 0.05 or 0.01. Okay, and then we make the decision by comparing the significant value against our alpha. Okay, we compare the significant value that we have earlier, which is the 0.008 against alpha 0.05. So the criteria is if the significant value lesser or equals to alpha, therefore we reject H naught. If the significant value larger than alpha, we fail to reject H naught. So based on our findings, since the significant value 0.008 lesser than alpha 0.05, therefore we reject H naught. Okay, the results indicated that there is a significant correlation between task-oriented copying with philanthropic behavior. So this is the conclusion for the result. Okay, so in terms of we are done in come up with the conclusion regarding the significance of the result. But based on the value itself, the R value 0.341. So now we need to elaborate further in terms of the direction of the relationship and the strength of the relationship. Okay, so based on the R correlation coefficient 0.341, it indicates that there is a positive relationship between task-oriented coping and philanthropic behavior. Okay, and then by referring to the Guilford rule of thumb, 0.341, it falls within the second range, which is there is a low relationship.
Doktor,
Ya.
untuk detail analisis ni, kita kena untuk kita masukkan dalam report, kita pun kena mentionkan sama ada the low relationship, bukan the positive relationship or negative relationship tu kita mention jugalah ya.
It is not compulsory, but it is recommended. It is not compulsory, but it is recommended because most of the time when we report the R value, we want to know specifically what is the direction of the relationship. So what is strength of the relationship? So by having to the strength and direction of the relationship, we add more meaning to our findings. Kita masukkan bagi kita boleh we can interpret more based on our finding. Okay, so based on your question, so the question is, if our literature said positive relationship, I choose one tail, but the result, the direction of the result is negative. What should I do? So means that the direction, there's something wrong with either your literature review, meaning that there is a probability that you do not review your literature robustly or thoroughly, or there might be random error in your study, either in when you select your instrument or when you administer the questionnaire. Okay, so this is how you can present the result for correlation analysis. Okay, table 1, this is how you can write down the name of the table, and then this is the table, how the table should looks like. Okay, the name of the variable, the list of variables should be located under the variable column, and then next to it comes your philanthropic, the DV. Okay, and then you just include the two flowers, and then you locate the note below the table, which is the correlation is significant at the 0.01 level by using the two-tail analysis. Okay. So this is the how to report or how to interpret your findings. A Pearson product moment correlation analysis has been conducted to test the relationship between task-oriented copying, which is the mean, equals to 4.43, standard deviation equals to 0.51. So yang ni wajib, this is compulsory to report mean and standard deviation. And philanthropic behavior, mean equals to 3.86. and standard deviation 0.48. among Malaysian volunteers. So result in figure table 1 indicated that there is a significant positive correlation between task-oriented coping and philanthropic behavior. So then you report the result, both R and significant R. Okay, so R equals to 0.341, P equals to 0.008. Or you can also report for the significant value, P lesser than 0.05. This one also acceptable. Instead of you mention the exact result. Okay, so according to the Guilford rule of thumb, the relationship considered low. Okay.